Camillus, the Director of Adoration Ministry in Enugu, Nigeria. I am a Nigerian. I'm a priest of Enugu Diocese, the Roman Catholic Church. I am one of the board members of Multi-Life Savers for the Less Privileged People, a non-governmental organization that is in total humanitarian in nature, 100% apolitical, detribalized, interdenominational, interreligious, all gender encompassing. And our boundaries are limitless. Our focus, mission, and dream geared towards the alleviation of poverty. It's a war, a crusade against unhealthy, imposed hunger upon our people. Because God has blessed Nigerians with the best weather in the whole universe for economic growth, that if well harnessed, there will be no need for this kind of macro hunger that we are now experiencing. Many people are now dying silently out of hunger, out of hopelessness, as a result of joblessness. Few days ago, it was a hammer upon Heritage Bank. Millions of Nigerians are directly and indirectly affected, and many are directly out of job, and the dependents of those who are out of job are now back to square one in this satanic and geopathic situation we find ourselves in. Instead of bringing remedies, panacea, and elixir that will alleviate the horrible situation we find ourselves, the thing is becoming like a benign cancer that has become malignant, and now it is metastasizing. And if care is not taken and actions are not taken immediately, in the next few years, everybody in this country will be running. Even those who are pretending to be safe, like the political dimension. In fact, the crisis will hit all aspects, north, south, east, west. Nobody will be safe. The religious people will be suffering. Basket offerings will cry, will be empty. The tithers will not have anything to tithe. Many religious people will go out of religious business. So the Multi-Life Savers for the Less Privileged has decided to continue her mission and vision, which we have been upon since years. It's now all about 28 to 29 years project, 100% poverty alleviation project. And our key emphasis is on the youths and the women. Because if we know that if we capture the youths, this malodorous insecurity that is now messing up the country, that tantamounts to even mass exodus out of the country and is killing our economy. Because even farmers cannot farm comfortably. But now, unfortunately, the situation is coming to a point whereby if we have the youths on our side, insecurity will go. And people can go to the forest to farm. But how do you fund them? When insecurity is on hike, because the young men have no jobs, the solution now, the panacea is give them jobs. And if you give them farms, give them healthy environments to farm, whatever they crop, we have the off-takers. We can't even feed the Nigerian consumers, talk more exporting. But if it tantamount to exportation, these youths will benefit. Instead of running away to foreign countries with hopelessness to do nothing, because our ingenious brains, our best brains, the best of what this generation has provided, are now migrating out. It is becoming like self-slavery, and it is a calamity to this nation. So this organization, partnering with the Yes Fund, is now keyed into bringing our youths, their values, their integrity, whatever they have, because Nigeria has the best youth in the whole world. Very effective, very dynamic, ever resilient, excellent, intelligent, guru young men and women who can do anything to survive. There's nowhere in the world we have such wonderfully gifted youths. So our cry now is, how do we fund them? So we beckon on our global funders, wherever they are, to come to help us, because we can do this. With Multi-Life and Yes Fund, the problem will be over. We don't want to depend on the government. I don't want to criticize the government, but I want to tell you that our problem in this country is the leadership. It's a leadership problem. We don't have a problem with our youths. We don't have a problem with our women or our men. But I want to tell you that in our agro section, we are doing little. Fly up. If you are using an aeroplane to move out, you see that only 2% of the whole community are being housed. The rest are forests. What are we doing with it? If we give our youths quality agro favor to farm, either by cropping or by animal like livestock, take for example cassava with the value chain addition, there will be no unemployed youth in this country. And once we see the youth and give them work to do, and they have food to eat, insecurity will die overnight. Insecurity will die premature death. There's nothing like insecurity apart from joblessness. And Multi-Life with Yes Fund can do this. Our problem is fund us. We have 100% assurance of executing this money in a humanitarian way. As I said, it's purely humanitarian and zero political. Now we talk about our education. Many children are out of schools. Many have no hope of going to school because they have to eat. Many are sick because of hunger. If you don't eat, how can you go to school? So if we feed our children and enable them to go to school, then we are packaging them for the future leadership, for future survival. And how can somebody go to school when the person is sick without a good, comprehensive, well-equipped hospital? We don't have them. How many hospitals have even oxygen? How many have quality drugs? How many have MRI facilities? Diagnostic centers are quack, many of them, only a few good hospitals. And these few are unaffordable. So the multi-life savers, multi means integral. We have no boundary to what we can do with a view towards killing insecurity, killing joblessness, killing hunger, killing whatever we call vice in this country, because the thing has metamorphosized into women violence and immoralities, masculine violence, and a lot of boys are becoming hoodlums without intending to become. Situations have forced them because they are watching our politicians amassing billions and not using them for the purposes which they are intended for. So now they are hopeless. So it is a war against hopelessness. We want to face hopelessness and behead it. We want to pull down the walls of hunger. We want to do what we can do to tell the universe that Nigeria is one of the best countries to invest in. If we handle our women, then they're very good, reputable women, especially among the young ones. If we hold them very well and they marry good husbands, why now travel out and burst themselves to situations they never imagined, to winter they never experienced, to immigrational factors they never dreamt of? In fact, it is wickedness. So the church has to be involved. I am here because it is a call. It is my vocation. I cannot do without this. And what is it? Helping the less privileged at all dimensions. As I said, what we do, we hit the whole geographical structures of this country, the north, the south, the east, the west. In terms of hospital, we locate everywhere. We can do it. We have many able young men who are ready. Like this year here, we know him for that. He is an entrepreneurial humanitarian personality. That's why I decided to work with him, because all this while we have been doing it alone, thanks to the Adoration Ministry and some of our local benefactors and benefactresses. But I'm doing whatever I have. Like we have water. This water company is purely evangelical project. We use it for the poor people. If we have this kind of fund, look at in terms of sports, we have quality young men that their talents could be developed. So we are into talent hunting. It doesn't matter the background you came from, no matter how poor your families are. If you come from the poorest of the poor, whether you're an Hausa man or Yoruba man or an Igbo man, we don't care. Once you're a human being from this country, and we will eventually expand it to other African countries. Many in Kenya are suffering, many Ghanaians are suffering, many in Kenya are suffering. Even Niger, there, many are suffering, Cameroonians are suffering. But if we catch Nigeria as a hub and a starting point, our rural areas could be urbanized. It's not about urban migration. We can carry the development to the rural. And we can think of if, by the grace of God, we go into techno miracle. Because of the quality of the young men we have, young men and young women, we can go into techno miracle. These young boys can go to the space. They can do anything you think about. They can compete with any type of brain in the whole world, in terms of medicine, in terms of engineering, architecture. Are we talking about geological issues? Are we talking about accounting or banking or even housing, estate and development? Nigerians are there. So that's why we are crying for global funders, people who can help to improve the lives of these our youth and women, to impact on the lives of these our young men and our young women, even our old men and old women. Many, once you retire, will be tied you.